Hello, good evening, and welcome to Camnet Television Main News. My name is Jeffrey Ziambo. Our top stories in the news tonight: LUSAKA woman opts out of an abusive marriage as husband admits cheating. President HAKAINDE HICHILEMA urged to consult the opposition on economic redemption. A policy think tank calls on mining communities to embrace agriculture. In international news, death toll from DRC floods rises to 203. And in sports news, Buffaloes crowned champions in dramatic style.
Water is life. Each drop counts and each must be cherished. Our tried and tested product meets all international standards. With our smart drip technology, we aim to deliver precision irrigation designed to reduce blockage and wastage, ensuring a high yield. RenGlow, your smart irrigation partner.
For immediate coverage of any breaking or latest news in Zambia and around the world on Camnet Television, call the numbers on your screen. Camnet Television, bringing to your screens fair news, impartial news, credible and reliable news all the time. Get the whole truth on Camnet World News. Camnet Television, not just another channel.
Hello once again, the news in detail. Central Province Minister Credo Nanjua has ordered a teacher at Mumba's Kitumba Community School to vacate the house after he declined a transfer to Miyumbe Community School. Mr. Nanjua, who is also Mumba Central Constituency Member of Parliament, gave the order after he visited the school and found the head teacher with his family squatting in a classroom, forcing teachers to be conducting their lessons from a boarding house. Mr. Nanjua says his office has a report that on several occasions the District Education Office has written transfer notices, but Mr. Mwemba Hakalaki has declined all of them and remained drawing his salary from the station he is not designated to. Here's a report.
It was based on his assumption that he sacrificed so much for Mumba District's Kidumba Community School and he deserved better. That is the story of Mr. Mwemba Hagaliki, who declined a transfer to Miyumbe Community School and held on to the schoolhouse. In his defense, during a community meeting, he charged that the school where he was transferred to is in the bush and has no electricity for his electrical appliances, further stating that he acted in the position of head teacher for a period of 7 years, stating that he could not allow someone else manage the school other than himself.
Any paper, without anything, no confirmation, nothing, working as a class teacher, but I was doing the job of a head. I was heading the school. Then the second transfer came, I said, this is something else again. Moving to some place without any paper, no confirmations, no what, which means I'm just working for nothing as a head.
It had to take the intervention of Central Province Minister Credo Nanjua, who ordered him to vacate the house after he declined the transfer to Miyumbe Community School.
Position, sir, is that if you can't move, you can't be here as well, because that's the position of government. We don't prefer where you are supposed to go. We signed to save the government anywhere that we are sent. He came from somewhere, he agreed. He came here to replace you. So a replacement is already made on you.
The replacement is made.
Yes.
I'm no longer holding the position of the head. Because I'm getting salary for class teacher. But as the minister said, no problem, I'll move. As a class teacher, I'll go. I've already lost 7 years of acting.
Meanwhile, Kalwanyambe Ward Councillor Lanson Sangwapo expressed a displeasure at the arrogance exhibited by the teacher, who he said continued to draw a salary for 3 years without teaching.
Learners actually are affected because the classroom where the new headmaster is occupying is supposed to be occupied by the learners. Currently, as you can see, we are also constructing a new classroom, which is not complete, because we are trying to look at the population that has grown so far. Now, if that population again is affected by one staff occupying the classroom, I think that is not conducive for our learners.
And Kitumba Community School head teacher Baino Siakalima said the visit by the Central Province Minister is an indication that the government is keen to see pupils learn in a good environment.
Since then, my colleague also was transferred to go to Makobo, not only me, but he was first transferred to go to Makobo. There is a community school somewhere, Kwamona, where he decided to go. Again, the office of the deputy secretary gave him another transfer to go to Miombe, which he refused. So from that time, he declared to say we will not go anywhere, but we just be here as a class teacher, and he would retire from here. That's what he was saying.
Patrick Soko, Camnet News.
A 32-year-old businesswoman of Lusaka's Kanyama compound has been left furious and dumbfounded after her husband of 10 months admitted to cheating on her and used a vile comment about her attitude to justify his action. The woman, who has failed to withstand an abusive relationship as her husband backs the other woman, claims her husband's infidelity is beyond to the point he has even neglected to take care of her. The woman, who opted to remain unknown, has now called on well-wishers to assist her with transport money so that she can go back to her parents in the village in Kaoma district. More in this report.
Cheating on your partner is almost never okay, but some people get caught in their act who try to come up with their own justification for why they were unfaithful. Joyce Zulu, not a real name, has been left shattered with shock and disbelief that the man who married her 10 months ago in Kaoma district and brought her to Lusaka has more than 5 different women. The 32-year-old, who was narrating her story with so much sorrow, says when she got married, her husband had informed her that his ex-wife, who left him, was owing different people money close to 30,000 kwacha. And after helping him clear off that balance, he changed his attitude toward her, claiming she was useless. Not only has she endured the pain of being cheated by her husband, the 32-year-old claims to be neglected, adding that her 42-year-old husband does not provide for the family, and when he does so, he only comes with 2 pieces of pork meat. To add more pain to her story, the 32-year-old is also a victim of gender-based violence.
Nitenga kumunzi kunileta kuno ku Lusaka. Bamuna banaka bakazi babenze na problemu. Beba inda kunitenga mkazi wanga na kukunda tieti kankale pamozi. So beba nanitengera pamozi hapo twabwira pamozi kuno ku Lusaka. Twankala na pesa ma problem.
New Generation Party President Humphrey Siolapa has charged that President HICHILEMA has so far governed the country beyond the expectations of the people. Speaking during a press conference in Lusaka Saturday, Mr. Siolapa says President HAKAINDE HICHILEMA has ensured that peace prevails in the country. He says Zambia nearly lost its peace under the Patriotic Front. He says the United Party for National Development Administration is on course towards reviving the local economy, which he says was grounded by the Patriotic Front. He believes the job creation agenda will also be actualized.
201 goals for Zambia. But in summary, I'll talk about 3 things. 1, peace. We almost lost our peace under PF. I will never stop talking about this, because if those guys had won, I don't know where I would be today. I don't know if I would be having this press conference. They would have already come. They were very efficient, knowing who is saying something against them, and they would have been here, scampering around. Two, HH has stabilized the economy. The economy which was going downwards towards destruction has started going upwards. That's what a president can do, stabilize the economy. He has also ignited the process of mass job creation. It is now up to us, the Zambian people, you, me, everybody out there, to come up with national job creation programs, create jobs. Private sector must create more jobs than government. And finally, in conclusion, I wish to state that HH has scored more goals for Zambia in the first 18 months of his presidency than any other president in the history of Zambia.
Forum for Democracy and Development, FDD leader Edith Nawakwe has urged President HAKAINDE HICHILEMA to consult opposition political parties in the country on how to effectively govern the country. In an interview with Camnet TV, Ms. Nawakwe contends that there is no harm for the head of state to seek advice from the opposition. She states that Zambia belongs to everyone, hence the need to consult critical stakeholders on governance. She says in order for the country to boost its economy, everyone needs to come on board and provide the much-needed solutions.
Then they will name Zambia. Dance here in Zambia, my brother, but be street smart. You need to go and engage the Chinese president. If you don't know how to do it, please, we are here. We can assist. It's our country. But the more you continue to be self-conceited, looking at your ego, you want self-praise, the more the country sinks. We are sinking. You are your own enemy because you don't want to listen. Look at the late President Michael Sata. He said he didn't want the Chinese, Bakaya. When they gave him the vote, what did he do? He says, I'm Dara Senkun, Super Ken, Warishama Chinese Vanoveka, Kabiyo Wala Sheguri. And he paved the way for us to interact with the Chinese. But what you have done is close the door. And out of $3 billion, over $3 billion which you have cancelled, which was approved, it was earmarked, you can come back to us and say, no, Wakamara waletaka 16 pin sure. Kamene stikutia. Awe. Chashu pava nemwe. Wakateka. Muleteka enshikanshi. Muleteka abantu na muleteka ivinkubala. We are human beings. We want to eat.
The United Party for National Development, UPND, in Lusaka has vowed to defend President HAKAINDE HICHILEMA from alleged Patriotic Front maneuvers to bring the name of the president into disrepute. UPND national spokesperson Phineas Pumolo says it is unfortunate that the PF has opted to drag the name of the president in its self-caused misfortunes. He was reacting to the incident where police raided the residence of former President Edgar Lungu in connection with criminal cases surrounding the former First family. Mr. Pumolo has advised the PF to stay away from what he termed as policies of malice and allow President HAKAINDE HICHILEMA to focus on cleaning up the social and economic mess they left.
The same place where PF cadres alleged to store the television set at the former head of state's residence. That's the same place which alleged abductors took the person there, and the vehicle was found there. So people of Zambia must question the credibility of the people that associate with the former head of state. We don't want, if the former head of state, he has a questionable character, he should not drag in the name of our president. Because us in UPND, we are aware of all the moves that the president makes, and we are there to defend the head of state. And we believe that us as a duty of UPND now is to make sure that we transform our economy, not drag the name of head of state in shamble dealings of the PF. The person who stole the television set in President Edgar Lungu's place is associate of the president. Keeping such gross amount of money in a house tantamount to money laundering. We all know that. So how is it possible that they want to drag in the name of the head of state? We as the national youth leaders now, we want to tell Nagachinda and Emmanuel Mwamba and all the PF inclined members that the peace that they are enjoying right now, they should not take it for granted. We have got people who died. We have got people who still live with the injuries. So they must appreciate this gesture that was given to them by the head of state, and they must protect it. Going forward, we are not going to allow lawlessness in our country. Those who want to try by all means to provoke the police so that they say that the police are working under instructions, they are wasting their time. We saw how the police acted amidst the provocation. The police acted very professional.
Meanwhile, the ruling United Party for National Development, UPND, says since its formation, the country has experienced orderliness and the rule of law. UPND Lusaka Youth Provincial Chairperson Anderson Banda says the party has brought civilized type of politics that aim at giving everyone an equal opportunity in the political field. He believes the 2026 general elections will be peaceful, taking into account the peaceful environment created by the UPND administration. More in this report.
Systematic African studies have revealed that electoral violence tends to have a negative impact, driving Africans away from participating in elections. Almost all the time when the country gets toward elections, violence is experienced in all forms. This has made a majority of women and youths shun from taking part in politics. With the United Party for National Development having been ushered into office to govern this country in 2021, their first promise was to ensure the rule of law. Now the ruling party is of the view that the 2026 general elections will be peaceful, taking into account the peaceful environment it has created. United Party for National Development Lusaka Youth Provincial Chairperson Anderson Banda says the UPND administration has restored fairness and orderliness in all sectors.
Civilized type of politics, which is being prayed in our country. A lot of things have changed, and the UPND has brought about issue-based politics. And also, it has brought about respect for each other, respect for the law, respect for electoral code of conduct. I think we are all here to witness that we've had by-elections. We have seen the difference which has been there previously and now, how these elections are being conducted. Previously, when it's time for by-elections, it was like a war time. People could shift from point A to point B for their safety. Instead of celebrating and staying around in analyzing and choosing leaders of their choice, people could resort to running away because of the violence and an environment which was not conducive.
Violence against women in politics is a global phenomenon, as it has been seen as an attempt to keep them away from participating in politics and governance issues. Mr. Banda, however, says with the environment created by the UPND administration, he is confident that a lot of women and youths will take part during the 2026 general elections.
As a result of this environment which New Dawn government has brought, we are expecting youths, women to participate in numbers. Because youths and women were victims of such ugly scenes in the political arena, especially women. We saw a situation where politics were characterized with character assassination, name calling, violence, corruption, even killing each other. That was the political environment which was entertained by previous colleagues. And it was very difficult for people like women to come out and participate.
Miriam Kaimba, reporting for Camnet TV News.
The Southern African Center for the Constructive Resolution of Disputes, SACOD, is disappointed that the Public Gatherings Bill was not enacted into law in the previous session of Parliament. SACOD Executive Director Boniface Chembe says the Public Gatherings Bill is crucial in amplifying the rights to freedom of assembly and association. Mr. Chembe is therefore calling on the government to make sure that the bill is among those to be tabled in the next session of the National Assembly. More in this report.
The Public Order Bill, being reformed as the Public Gatherings Bill, is among critical bills pending enactment based on the assurance of President HAKAINDE HICHILEMA's administration. Successive governments have been using the Public Order Act to disadvantage the opposition and other critical voices. The Zambia Police, as an implementing entity, has been in the past accused of being abused by politicians to shrink the civic space for the benefit of the sitting government. Earlier this year, the Zambia Law Development Commission handed over the Public Gatherings Bill to the Minister of Home Affairs and Internal Security pending cabinet approval for tabling in Parliament. However, the Southern Africa Center for the Constructive Resolution of Disputes, so-called Executive Director Boniface Chembe, regrets that the bill could not be tabled in the previous sitting of Parliament, urging the government to make sure the bill is among those to be enacted in the next session of the National Assembly.
We don't understand any delays that may be contributing towards the speedy enactment of the Public Gatherings Bill into law, whose content is progressive and meets regional as well as international standards in as far as fundamental freedoms are concerned. And once we reform the Public Order Act, we are assured as a country that we will guarantee and give our people much more greater latitude to enjoy their fundamental freedoms of association and assembly. There is therefore no need for the nation to continue delaying on the enactment of the Public Gatherings Bill.
We also spoke to social scientist Innocent Kolala, who believes that the Public Gatherings Bill is vital in strengthening Zambia's democracy, as it will create a level political playing field.
What we expect now, the Minister of Home Affairs, together with, of course, the Attorney General and everyone who is charged with such an activity, to ensure that they expedite it to be taken now to Cabinet and later be taken to Parliament, so that this law become, of course, an ideal law which is going to stand a test of time.
Patrick Soko, Camnet News.
The Center for Trade Policy and Development, CTPD Executive Director Isaac Mwai Popo has underscored the need for people in mining communities to shift attention to other sectors. He says it is high time people look at sectors like agriculture for economic sustenance. Mr. Mwai Popo notes that currently there is no community that is doing fine owing to mining. And Mr. Mwai Popo is confident that the government will make progress in unlocking investments on Konkola copper mines and Mopani copper mine.
The mining sector has continued to play a role in the Zambian development process, but we've also seen in the recent past a slowdown with regards to the contribution of the mining sector towards job creation as well as overall economic growth of the country. Of course, this is informed by a number of factors such as demand for the commodity that we normally export, which is copper. Whenever there's a slowdown in countries like China that normally import copper from Zambia, we also tend to experience some challenges in our local economy. We remain optimistic that the Zambian government will work tirelessly to find solutions to unlock investment vehicles like Mopani as well as KCM, which have been on the table for some time. Our concern is that the information that is coming through from government is not very clear. It is not providing direction, and it doesn't even give a clear sense in terms of what exactly they are working towards. If they can improve on the communication and bring in more clarity, it would help to also calm the people that are staying on the copper belt with regards to the measures that are being taken to unlock the investment vehicles we have mentioned. Beyond that, it is our appeal to the residents that are coming through from areas where they've been depending so much on mining. It is high time that they started seeing alternative sectors like agriculture as the future.
This is Camnet Television News. Join us for more news after the break.
From time immemorial, we have had different types of lighting options, from those that can burn down our investments in minutes to those that dig holes in our pockets due to constant replacement and huge consumption of our ZESCO units. Savenda Electric introduces the new and advanced electric bulb with cutting-edge technology of LED that has low power consumption, gives out bright white light, and lasts up to 25,000 hours. Savenda Electric manufactures all types of LED light like plastic LED fluorescent tubes, down lights, ceiling lights, outdoor fittings, and solar street lights made to customer specifications. Let's live on the bright side of life by choosing the wide range of Savenda electric lighting solutions that are available in all leading stores and supermarkets countrywide. For orders, call 0962-642-490 or email jnbunda@savenda.com or pchabula@savenda.com.
Your skin is the biggest muscle in your body. That's why we make sure that Oracle is #1 when it comes to taking care of your precious skin. Oracle Pure Petroleum Jelly and Glycerin soothes, moisturizes, and keeps your skin perfect. Oracle Pure Petroleum products for that perfect skin.
Water is life. Each drop counts and each must be cherished. Our tried and tested product meets all international standards. With our smart drip technology, we aim to deliver precision irrigation designed to reduce blockage and wastage, ensuring a high yield. Renglow, your smart irrigation partner.
Welcome back. We'll continue with the news. President Divine Chanan Global Outreach Liz Chaplain has underscored commitment to uplifting the lives of vulnerable children in the country. Speaking to Camnet News upon arrival at the Kenneth Kaunda International Airport, Ms. Chaplain says our organization wants to assist street children live meaningful lives. She says making women realize their true purpose and potential through the gospel of Jesus Christ is among the activities she will undertake while in the country. The conference is slated for the 12th and 13th May 2023 will be held at the National House of Prayer along Burma Road under the theme Repositioning Ourselves for Restoration.
Also here to impact the nation, to set women at liberty, even men, children, as we are having a power-packed all-night prayer on the 12th of May, which you should not miss it. It shall be a life-changing event in the precious and matchless name of Jesus. And what brings me here is the street kids. That's where my passion is, to reach out, feed the street kids as well in the name of Jesus. And we also have a tournament, wow, a powerful tournament that is coming, a football tournament with the children that are less privileged, and as well as we have a women's conference. Wow, women from the north, the south, the east, and the west. I am imploring you to come to this conference. Yes, on the 13th of May, you don't want to miss it. Your life will never remain the same. Reason being, it is woman thou art loose. And I believe that this is your season, and we've stepped into a month of power and a one accord where power must change hands because the game changer is here in the name of Jesus. Well, my appeal is to come out in your masses, to come out geared up, fasten your seat belt, because the King of Kings, the Lord of Lords, the mighty one, the great I am that I am, is here to meet you. And I can assure you that your life will not remain the same. You know, we have passed through so many things, 10 generations going. So we're basically here with my team that are in Zambia to break the chains, the shackles. So please come in the name of Jesus and you won't regret it.
Zambian Empowerment Hub for Entrepreneurship and Skills Training, ZEHEST, has expressed concern at the slow pace at which the Constituency Development Fund, CDF, is being disbursed. In an interview, ZEHEST Executive Director Clarence Muziamba has observed that most cooperatives that have been formed by the youths have never received any CDF funds. He adds that such trends risk the country not achieving the desired results, as many youths will not be empowered. He says most youths in the country have become frustrated because the much talked about CDF has failed to produce the desired results.
We are concerned about the slowness in CDF funds disbursements. A check in most constituencies shows that many cooperatives and young people have not yet received the CDF funding. This is so worrying for us because we know as an empowerment hub that CDF is a vehicle. Actually, it's a change. It's a change maker, and so for us, we are urging our leaders in government to ensure that they deal with the bottlenecks to do with CDF. We also want to engage government through the Ministry of Local Government to ensure that the bottlenecks to do with CDF are worked on. We as young people are anxious and we are now getting frustrated because from the time we applied up to now, we have not yet seen results. And all we have been told, if we inquire from our leaders, is form cooperatives, form cooperatives. Now, young people have formed cooperatives, but for them to access these funds, it has become a challenge. Therefore, we are urging our leaders to ensure that they quicken and work on the CDF bottlenecks. As an empowerment hub, we believe that entrepreneurship is key to national economic growth. And we want to thank the new Dawn administration for increasing the CDF allocation to 28 million. That is quite a mammoth development. And for us, if these funds have been increased and yet young people can't access, then it's a challenge.
Chirundu District Agricultural Coordinator Emmanuel Sulemba says the district is facing adverse effects of climate change due to prolonged dry spells, hence the need to engage farmers in irrigated crops throughout the year. Mr. Sulemba says the Ministry of Agriculture in the district has intensified activities at a 250-hectare Kapululira irrigation scheme as an alternative livelihood for farmers following prolonged dry spells experienced in the district. He told senior agricultural officers from the Provincial Agricultural Office in Choma, led by Southern Province Principal Agricultural Officer Paul Nyambe, that the Kapululira irrigation scheme has helped farmers to cushion the negative impacts of climate change. Here's a report.
Located at the confluence of Kafiwe and Zambezi rivers is the Kapululira irrigation scheme in Chirundu district. Here at the irrigation scheme, with 89 beneficiary farmers, have been growing bananas and other high-value crops to sustain their livelihoods as far back as 1917. As for the ready market for their produce, Tenpak at the junction of LUSAKA-Chirundu Road to Southern Province, LUSAKA and Kafiwe have always provided a steady source of market. Chirundu District Agriculture Coordinator Emmanuel Sulemba says the district is facing diverse effects of climate change due to prolonged dry spells, hence the need to engage farmers in irrigated crops throughout the year.
Kapululira, we have farmers, it's an old irrigation scheme. I think it is in extent of almost 200 hectares, but the 133 hectares are the ones that are actively being used. And farmers there, they are growing mostly bananas and vegetables.
And Chirundu Senior Agricultural Officer Jen Kabunda says the irrigation scheme was handed over to farmers in 1990, assisting them in food security, nutrition security, and income generation.
The scheme has really helped the farmers in terms of food security and nutrition security, as well as income generation. They are in the year-round production.
However, the 250 hectares Kapululira irrigation scheme has its own challenges.
Our irrigation pumps are not good. We also grow vegetables. During the rain season, we also grow maize so that we can be food secure at household level.
The only problem we have at this scheme are old irrigation pumps.
Reporting, Lawrence Kabuto in Chirondo, Southern Province.
We'll take a second and final break. Join us for international and sports news after the break.
For immediate coverage of any breaking or latest news in Zambia and around the world on Camnet television, call the numbers on your screen. Camnet television, bringing to your screens fair news, impartial news, credible and reliable news all the time. Get the whole truth on Camnet World News. Camnet Television, not just another channel.
Water is life. Each drop counts and each must be cherished. Our tried and tested product meets all international standards. With our smart drip technology, we aim to deliver precision irrigation designed to reduce blockage and wastage, ensuring a high yield. Rain Glow, your smart irrigation partner.
Welcome back. And now in international news, the death toll from floods and landslides in the east of the Democratic Republic of Congo has risen to 203 people dead as more bodies are recovered, an administrative official said Saturday. It was not possible to evaluate the full extent of the human losses and material damage, he told local media. Heavy rainfall in the Kalehe region of South Kivu province on Thursday caused rivers to overflow, causing landslides that engulfed the villages of Bushushu and Yamukubi. For more in international news, here's a roundup.
A scene of destruction in the east of the Democratic Republic of Congo. What used to be a market is no more. In all, several villages were submerged, many houses washed away, and fields were devastated. The provisional toll from floods and landslides stood Saturday at 203 dead. Behind the numbers, entire families in the South Kivu province are grieving. I don't have any more family. And I don't have any more fields. Now I must look for a place to sleep. I know my husband is alive, but all the children are dead. Heavy rainfall in the Kalehe region on Thursday caused rivers to overflow as landslides engulfed the villages of Bushushu and Yamukubi. Survivors call for help as more mortal remains are recovered. We think there are many bodies which washed up in the lake. After 3 days they will be visible. And we wonder how we will get through this. We don't have body bags. We don't get funding for what we do. This is the biggest difficulty. Things will get worse. Someone told me a boy who was there, who was 25, he died in the hospital. And for other people admitted, we don't know. I call on the provincial and national authorities to come help us, because people are struggling to survive. Health personnel at the hospital of Bushushu promoting mothers and children's health were outnumbered. The medicine director feared all patients could not be correctly taken care of. The influx of cases shows clearly that we are overwhelmed because we have already exceeded our capacity. As for the beds, you can see some people have to sleep on the floor. The disaster in the Democratic Republic of Congo came 2 days after floods killed at least 131 people and destroyed thousands of homes in neighboring Rwanda. In Uganda and elsewhere in the world, farmers traditionally use plastic wrappings to pot seedlings. However, the wrappers are thrown away at the planting stage and plastic poses dangers to the environment. Scientists at the National Agriculture Research Institute worked on new eco-plastic potting bags.
It is coming from our own agricultural waste. So that means banana, cassava, cereal wastes can be used in this material. And unlike the other one where we have to use oil-based plastic material, and we now make the oil-based plastics, or what we call the fossil-based plastics.
Most of plastic waste is washed into drainage channels and into Lake Victoria, which millions depend on. It constitutes the greatest part of pollution of waterways and degradation of soils. If the Ugandan government has on several occasions put a ban on single-use plastic, it has not been enforced. The readily available farm waste has become an asset.
Once farm waste is dried, it's shredded into powdered form and mixed with other products, including starch, to form a paste. The paste is what is dried and rolled out into a biodegradable plastic sheet like this one for use as seedling pots.
Field trials are going on with seedling farmers in the Mount Elgon region in eastern Uganda. The project, worth $88 million, is funded by the UK government. Ugandan researchers have developed a plant-based repellent to prevent insects from attacking the potting bags.
We are so much sure and convinced that the moment we apply it in the bioplastic, it will effect the same effects on the bioplastic against repelling these termites when they come. At the same time, it also has some mortality effects, can also as well kill some of them. That is in case the concentration is high.
The researchers say Ugandan farmers will benefit enormously from the project by selling waste for processing. Up to 1.4 million tons of agricultural waste is produced annually. Uganda is working with the University of Bangor in the UK to roll out mass production of eco-plastic bags in about a year.
The Arab League held an emergency meeting in Cairo over the weekend, the third of its kind in 3 weeks, to discuss the ongoing military clashes in Sudan. Sudan has been suffering deadly armed clashes between the Sudanese armed forces and the paramilitary rapid support forces in the capital city of Khartoum and other areas since April 15.
The top priority of the Arab League now is to find a real solution and to stop the bloodshed, to protect the livelihoods of people in Sudan, especially that this country is relying on the humanitarian aid. The consequences have exacerbated. It's not about to call like the RSF a militia or not. The top priority now for the Arab League is to find a way out of the current situation.
During the meeting, Egyptian Foreign Minister Sameh Shoukry spoke to the commanders of the rival Sudanese sides, General Abdel Fattah al-Burhan of the Sudan Armed Forces and General Mohammed Hamdan Daglo of the RSF. Shoukry also discussed the recent developments with 7 Arab and African foreign ministers, including those of Kenya and Djibouti. So far, the deadly clashes have led 550 people dead and more than 4,900 others wounded, according to the Sudanese Health Ministry.
It's now time for sports news. In our sports news tonight, Green Buffaloes Women Football Club have been crowned the 2022-2023 FAS Women's Super League champions after a dramatic final day to the season. Final day leaders Red Arrows were held goalless by Busa, while the defending champions beat Queen's Sport Academy 1-0 to finish the league on 81 points, one better than the Air Ladies. To end Camnet Television main news, the headlines once again. LUSAKA woman opts out of an abusive marriage as husband admits cheating. President HAKAINDE HICHILEMA urged to consult the opposition on economic redemption. A policy think tank calls on mining communities to embrace agriculture. In international news, death toll from DRC floods rises to 203. And in sports news, Buffaloes crowned champions in dramatic style. Our Camnet verse of the day is coming from Hebrews 13 verse 5. Keep your lives free from the love of money and be content with what you have. because God has said, never will I leave you, never will I forsake you. Thank you again for watching Camnet Television News. I'm Jeffrey Ziambo. Bye-bye.